Welcome back, everyone, to the Billions After Show. It is season 4, guys, and we are talking kidnapping, revenge. We have Park Anywhere permit drama. You know, I kind of want to get my hands on one of those. We have news, and we have our millennial translator. Let's do it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Woo! AfterBuzz TV. The buzz is beginning.
Yeah.
It's beginning now. We are excited. We're back, guys. It's a thing.
Woo.
And we have a new panelist with us tonight as well, Miss ReGina.
Hello.
Welcome to the squad. I am so excited to be back. I can't believe it's been a year already. I do not know where the year has been.
Was it a year?
Pretty much. It's roughly a year, give or take.
Did it feel as long as the waits of Game of Thrones and other previous waits for shows you're obsessed with?
Kind of in a sense, because of how last season ended. It ended with Wendy and Rhoades and Bobby just sitting there at that table, and they had every angle covered. I rewatched last episode before coming in tonight, obviously, just to make sure we were okay. Right. And I realized how many angles they got of that because it was such a crucial and critical moment in the series. And so, yeah, no, I've been craving it for a year, Kev.
And Gina, you're a longtime fan of the show.
Yes, from day one. So I can't believe it's been 4 seasons already. I'm like, oh my God, time flies when you've got really great writing.
And it's just building too. This is one of those shows. And you know what's interesting about the show is how many generations it hits. You know, you would think this is just a dude show, and clearly, like all the guys on Wall Street, this is their go-to show, and supposedly they are obsessed with all the actors, and they're always hitting up all the actors, and like the way Wall Street back in the day was the last generation show, you know, kind of go-to. But I think with Taylor, there's just another whole other generation of people that also watch this show, and women, and lots of women love this show as well.
Yeah, it's like Billions IRL in real life. Everyone's trying to become that one person, and especially if you live in a big city as well, and you know all these rich people, and everyone's just trying to, you know, especially with social media and stuff, people are trying to be cooler than maybe they are. Always want to channel their inner Bobby Axelrod, I think.
Right. I mean, they definitely empower the women on Billions, and that's one of the reasons why I really love the show so much, because there's some strong women there.
There are,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it seems like the women are more kind of have their feet on the ground, and the guys let their egos get in the way more. They get, you know, and we're seeing, I know tonight, it's a lot of scary quotes from the guys that are foreshadowing something bad to me.
And we see Wendy just kind of being, as she always is, that center for everyone, and just being strong. And we see how, like, she's just getting even stronger as the seasons progress about what she wants, and she's not taking BS anymore, which is fabulous.
If Taylor can resist, it'll be interesting if they can resist the path of letting ego get in the way and getting sucked into the kind of what it looks like the male battlefield. They might be okay, but you know, will they go that way? Will they not? Will they get sucked into revenge? To, you know, because both sides. What scared me most was hearing Bobby and Chuck separately revenge, revenge, and that's
the theme
scary,
of the season.
because I don't know if that ends well for anyone ever. When that's your quest, your quest should be to make money, or if you're Chuck, it's to you know, get ahead in politics.
Yeah.
But when it's revenge. Right?
Yeah.
And I think Taylor, she was telling
we'll have to teach you this too. Like, no, these our millennials and our viewers are very strict that being a
Taylor's pronoun is they or them.
They or them.
But I think she
they. That's what I'm saying. You can't say they. Yeah, no, you'll get used to it. It's okay. It's okay. No, it took us what, 3 seasons?
A little bit to get used to it.
Exactly. 3 seasons. So don't worry.
Got it now. But they are really concerned about having enemies and not really being accustomed to having enemies.
And the worst kind of enemy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So
you don't
it's a
want to
slippery slope.
Yeah. And I don't know where I am on, like, do I like them? Do I not like them? Am I on Taylor's side? Am I not on Taylor's side? It's like, I don't know who. It was the same battle when we were seeing Bobby and Chuck go against each other. It's you kind of liked and hated both of them at the same time. Right. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where my heart goes and our hearts go as the season goes on.
For me, I think the Griegers of the world and the Jock Jeffcoats of the world make it so I will be Team Chuck and Team
Bobby.
Bobby.
Oh yeah, because Taylor had backing her are just.
And I mean, again, I not to brag, but I predicted that these two would get together. So my next prediction will be that I think Grieger's going to get so bad that ultimately they may have to all team up.
Yeah. We'll see.
To take down Grieger and the other people. Maybe. I don't know. But again, that's a long lead.
Yeah, and
we're not going to see that this season. Don't worry.
We'll keep that for predictions. And what we saw, the super tease of the rest of the season, looks just incredible too. So it's gonna go down on the billions front.
But you make a good point about the egos.
Yeah.
So how long will it be until maybe Bobby and Chuck, the egos clash, and then
right? So in the news, did you go over? There was a New York Times interview with Koppelman and his co-creator, and then also I think there was a really good interview with Paul Giamatti. Are you covering that in the news?
Not covering Paul. I have an interview from Mother Jones with Brian Koppelman and a couple of the other creators.
Gotcha.
I pulled a quote out from there.
Okay.
But we can chat about the New York Times.
Just to follow up on what ReGina said is that Koppelman speaks about these characters and how. It's like they're happy when they're happy. Obviously, they're a little happier when they're winning, but they're also happy when they're just in the thick of the fight. So it's never like okay, I'm gonna make my billion or my 2 billion or my 5 billion. Then I'm out. I'm gonna enjoy life. It's always got to be fight. And if I'm winning, a little better. But even if I'm not winning, that's where I'm finding my happiness.
Yeah.
And then Paul Giamatti kind of teased. He said, these guys still have both characters, Chuck and Axe, still have their own agendas, and he just said it will be interesting to see how long they can stay on the same page.
Yeah, it's
on the same side.
A journey, yeah.
And it was like interesting when Wag told Bobby, "You're not giving up. You're not going to give up, are you?" I mean, he's a Russian oligarch, but heck, you're an American oligarch. So that kind of brought it back to
ever.
we're going to fight and we're going to,
Right. Well, Wags, I mean, we'll get into it when we get into that part because I don't want to go too deep into it.
Yeah, let's dive into kind of the show right now. I think where we started was just seeing where we're going to find all of our new characters, or our old characters, after coming back from last season. So let's start at Axe Cap. First and immediate was that he made everyone sign this non-compete clause. Like, he was just scarred from everything Taylor did, and he's trying to completely button up his company and make sure it doesn't happen again. We see that Wendy is on his side fully, completely, and like a little bit harshly as well, which we don't really see Wendy with everyone there. We always see her as like kind of the mother hen trying to help everyone. Yeah, it has to be because that was, the worst thing that could possibly happen. So what we see, first of all, is we see that one of his, what was his name? He fires one of the guys that works there, Rudy, because Rudy went to Taylor Mason's company party. Is he an idiot or is he an idiot, guys? What is going on there?
Well, he RSVP'd, back
months ago, before everything.
Such a But and Costello response.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I respond. Yeah,
it's
okay,
like,
buddy.
Duh.
Just trying to cover up, and it's
this is the enemy.
Exactly, and that's the thing, is that people don't realize that. People don't realize at the company what the damage was to everyone's future there. Then they need to go, and that's what Axe, I think, was proven with the fire.
And he also wasn't being a team player. He wasn't sharing information. And that's what you call in business a landmark firing. Yeah. You do that in front of everybody, and that just sets a tone of like, no, we're not doing that anymore. Yeah. And it's,
Yeah, and he showed, and the way Axe got into Bonnie's face there, I thought he was going to fire her, get aggressive with her, but I think he was just kind of warning her, hey, honey, be a little bit nicer to everyone, but also this guy's got to go.
Here's the other thing that's super interesting, you guys, is I find it so refreshing to see actions like that when he got in Bonnie's face. And not that let me make it clear. I didn't enjoy seeing him be threatening with her. I enjoyed the writers writing that, and I enjoy seeing how much gutter talk they all do, because it does exist. But I will say that it's refreshing to see, because I feel like in this new snowflake millennial culture, everyone's so afraid to put that stuff out there. We're taught in human resources, just getting in her face like that is a no-no, let alone all the F-bombs and all the other
big no-no,
right? But I'm glad that Koppelman and their team are not being so overly sensitive to to make this unrealistic.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
No, I get what you're saying.
Because when I saw it, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
whoa. Like, but this is how it is, right?
And if Bonnie, let's say, was Mafee, sure as heck that Axelrod would have gotten into his face like that. But I think they wanted to make the distinction that just because she's a woman working there, she's treated the same as Axe does with all the guys there.
And she probably she's stronger, it seems like, than the Mafees. Like, I think the
completely.
Mafee, that's why Mafee's over with Taylor, because he's more millennial. Like, he would have been more freaked out. It's interesting, even with her style. Do you notice her haircut? Mm-hmm. It's masculine, very 80s almost.
Yeah,
you notice
curly,
yeah,
Yeah.
dated, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I love it. Like, I love that. I like where they're going with her.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought maybe, is she kind of filling a Taylor void or not? So, I mean, I don't know.
To a degree, well, think about it. She's a minority.
Mm-hmm.
And she's her own person, it seems.
Yeah.
She's not afraid. She wasn't afraid when Axe got in her face. Mm-hmm. She stood up to him.
Yeah, she said it
stood
right back to
around,
him.
Yeah. And she knows her shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of things there to work with.
Yeah. So she's definitely going to be a big player. We only slightly got to see her last season, and I think now seeing her just immediately in one of the first couple scenes of the first episode, she's going to be a big player.
Yeah, I think she's
So
going to
I'm
challenge
surprised
Bobby.
Ben Kim is still there. I felt like he would go over.
I think there's going to be something with him to play. I feel like he's going to be some type of pawn between Axe and Taylor that Axe is going to use him for. I feel like he's not, obviously,
I agree.
as we've talked about, he's not strong enough. He's not that, he's not built for this type of tension.
Right.
So he's going to crack at some point, but I think Axe is going to use him before he goes away. Right. So let's talk about the opening scene, though, because it was kind of brilliant. And the song that was played while Wags is sitting there partying, trying to seal the deal with the Sheik's number 2 guy. It was just I kind of liked the scene. The song was crazy and weird, and it just showed what Wags does and what Bobby does to seal a deal.
And again, it made, to me, I'm sorry, you guys, it just made being in that world so exciting. It's so fun.
It's just right.
Like
until you're kidnapped and
He's the perfect soldier, you know. What can I say?
until you're kicked in a shoe closet, and
Drugged
and drugged up.
Yeah.
And
I felt so
Crazy.
afraid for him.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, what's going on here?
where was that going to go?
But you know what was interesting, guys? Again, I love the political incorrectness of this show, is their discussion that preceded it. He was insulting their religion.
Oh, we see earlier, what happened to it?
I mean, like the thing, some of the things I should have I should have written down some of his quotes. But it was basically like, he told him, like, oh, you guys are going to be fucked without oil and everything's electric. Like, what are we talking? But he brought in religion, and but I loved it. It was just so real, but it got scary for me.
Yeah, I mean, his feet were up on the couch while he's having this talk that's talking about a lot of money there, and it's like very disrespectful what he was doing.
But again, when you insult the religion, think about we don't have think of 9/11 and what the extremes that what people have gone to over similar discussions, and these are the most powerful people he's talking to. So to me, it was great writing because it made me feel like maybe he took one step too far, and that's and then all bets are off.
Yeah.
For what he was saying.
Yeah.
But when you're in that world, you got to be ballsy, right?
Yeah.
But I love seeing it though. I love seeing it, and I love that we're on I love Showtime allowing it, because even I just feel like if that were on a network, if that were NBC, ABC, or CBS. Even though the writer would say, no, I'm not saying this is right, this conversation, but this is how it is, I don't feel like they would allow it.
No, it's because it's a lot, especially about being on a network. It's very PC, and so Showtime has the ability to be a little, little off.
And just, well, and good for them.
Yeah.
As they should, and that's why I think we all connect with shows like Billions in a sense, because it is more wild and free.
Well, it's the real world, so to speak, because I was watching TV just the other day, and somebody on one of the news channels mentioned Billions.
Yeah.
When they were talking about the Southern District of New York. So
there you go, the connections.
Yeah.
Because the writing is I see so many articles right now about how they're correlating what's actually happening in the world and with the Trump administration with this season of Billions, and I think we're going to see it more and more.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, with Wags, what I found was so significant about this, I had always questioned for 3 seasons. Wax and Bobby are super close. Wax and Dollar Bill super close, but Wags and Bobby super tight, right? That's just. But I always wondered in the back of my head, how far would Bobby go for Wags? Would he ultimately, when it came down to the dollar, would he let him die for the sake of more money? And I always felt that that's how it was going to go for Wags, that ultimately he would be sacrificed.
A sacrificial lamb.
Yes, at some point. And I felt like they were pointing to that. This episode showed us something different, which I think is really cool. The fact that Bobby says, fuck Axe Capital. If, basically like if I can't get him out, fuck Axe Capital, we're going to the FBI.
Yeah, I'll lose millions upon millions of dollars.
I mean, maybe his whole business. And I thought that was, I love that.
Yeah. I think it's reasons like that is why we love Bobby too. Because you see that loyalty is number one to him.
I hope it is.
Yeah,
but now it is. That confirmed it.
Yeah, it completely. I mean, but also with Wendy, how he helped Wendy last season out. It was just out of pure loyalty and respect. That's who he is at his core, even though there's a lot of flaws that the man has, as we know. But at the end of the day, we'll see more.
No, we see, but it made that was nice that he's more. Wags is not just a pawn or a lieutenant. Like he really, he
was really scared for him.
Yeah, and I really and I like that, and I think that makes you like him. To me, like more as a main character.
Yeah, and that's why it's hard, like when he does shady stuff, to be like, oh, it's okay. You're like, oh, that's okay. That he's doing that. He's also a really good guy here, so it makes you.
I kind of feel like that's real life, though.
It is.
I mean, I was thinking the other day, and this is probably off topic, but
let's talk.
Have you guys met anyone in your travels who's pure evil? Or have you met people who have done a lot of bad things, but then but they're really good to their mom, or they have a handicapped kid that they take care of, or I was trying to think in my head, and I don't know if I've met anyone pure evil. I've met people who do a lot of evil things.
Yeah, I think it's hard to think. I think if you hate someone so much,
What do you think? Have you, ReGina? It's okay. I want to know.
I won't say pure evil because I would definitely run from that person, or I mean. When in everyday life, of course,
Yeah, because I'm wondering if it's even out there. That's why I'm saying I like when a character, when you write a character that's not that pure evil. It's and I've interviewed really good writers who've always said. The best ones say they don't even believe in villains.
Yeah.
They just, there's no villains in their world. The characters are doing what they think is best.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's people's definition of what evil is. It's that everyone can have their own definition of what, like, oh, they did this, but it's okay because it's not as bad as this. But even though other people would characterize an action that they took as being pure evil. So I think it depends on the person. And I think it also depends on what you want to see and what you don't want to see. I think sometimes you'll block stuff out to make it easier on yourself so you don't have to handle certain situations.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Grieger's probably one of the closer ones to this. But,
I think so.
Jock, but at the same time, you can see where it comes from. Grieger, if you remember, was orphaned. It was just a messed up childhood.
Exactly.
And with Jock, it just seems like he is a Trump devotee who thinks he's
genuinely
being
believes he's
alt-right is changing the world. And anyway, I'm a little off topic. I was just
we can have a whole podcast about that, going deep into that, the psychology of evil and not.
It speaks to the good writing of the show because all these characters are all gray.
Completely. Well, talking about Grigor, so once Axe goes out, Axe and Hall, and they go and they try and search for Wags and figure it out, and Axe is getting super, super upset that no one's telling him what's happening, and he knows that, Wags is here.
Right.
And they finally go on this hunt, and I guess the biggest thing was that Axe would never go in person to meet with the Sheik. He kept sending Wags, and that was a big thing. They wanted to talk to the number one person. And so Bobby finally shows up when his number two is taken away and his best friend's gone, and ends up opening up that door, hoping to find the Sheik, and it's Grigor standing there. And Grigor is the mastermind behind all of this, just to teach him a lesson. It was all to teach a lesson of, hey, you're going to mess with Taylor. This is what's going to happen to you, to the people you love. This is what's going to happen to your money. And it left Axe to the point of him falling onto the couch after sitting there like,
humbled.
What was that? It did. And it worked. What had happened there? Did you guys see that happening? I think we were all saying that we thought that was Taylor standing there in that room. Who did you think was going to be in there when those doors opened?
They really left the suspense.
Yeah. Right.
There. And I was like, I thought it was going to be Taylor. And then to see, her benefactor, which is what he is,
Yeah.
then that really kind of blew my mind. Like, oh, okay.
I liked it. I thought it was going to be Taylor, but I liked that it wasn't because we need to save that.
Exactly.
I don't want to see that first episode.
Exactly.
You want to build them up till their ultimate when they get face to face.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this when we cover Taylor in a little bit, but when Wags sees her, when we go, what had happened before, in the wig, going to meet with the Sheik, and seeing what Taylor has to do to try and make it in this business. We'll have a whole discussion on
Right.
that.
But for now, the most symbolic thing is the fact that he was afraid of, he just said, this guy's got more money than me.
Oh, yeah.
He's got more connections. And this is why we all love Wags, because Wags is like, F that.
Yeah, because you don't see Bobby kind of like, go shrivel up a little bit. You don't see Bobby back down at all. So it takes a strong character to make Bobby feel the way he does. And Wags as his buddy, laying with his back on the bed, just like trying to get himself back to life, is like, we are not done fighting. No.
Again, and the only thing that concerns me was Wags saying what we'll talk about Chuck saying is, you will have your revenge on Taylor. It's like, that's what just makes me.
It'll destroy people.
I wish the compass was no. We will make Axe Capital #1, and there'll be no competition
Instead
when
of
we're
revenge.
done.
Yep.
But when you're focused on someone else getting revenge, it just, I don't know. It just, the results don't end up so
And that's
good.
what she's so afraid of.
Yeah.
Because she said, I didn't have any enemies, and now I do.
Yeah.
So she's got to watch her back.
This season looks like it's going to be crazy, so we'll see where revenge leads us. But before we move on to our next topic, we're going to talk about some Rhoades drama. We just wanted to say thank you very much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we could use your help, though. If you're on YouTube right now, you can hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, please just leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation, and we respond back every week. I'm so happy to be back doing this because I missed you guys and missed having that dialogue throughout the week. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends what's happening and keep enjoying our shows. Seriously, thank you guys so much. On to Mr. Rhoades. Let's pick up where we kind of left off with all that drama. He was fired last season. He was kicked out in a brutal way, and his #2 is now taken over for him. So Brian Connery, and we see this in one of the opening scenes, he's getting sworn in as the U.S. attorney now. And you know who's there watching him, all excited and happy? Mr. Jeffcoat, of course, the attorney general. And he's like, as soon as Brian said those words, Jeffcoat comes up, put his arms around him. Hey, yep, now you're mine, basically. Now you're my minion.
And he also did say something to the effect of heavy is the head that wears the crown. I basically was like, congratulations, but really. Now
welcome. You did your little swearing in. You have people here watching you. None of that matters. Now you're mine. Now I'm going to help you.
And then it's like, oh, let's get on to Chuck Rhoades and how we get back at him and destroy him.
Exactly.
So,
and that'll be the theme of this entire season is how they're going to block Chucks from being successful.
Here's what's interesting is this is going to sound crazy, but Jock is not so much out for revenge as he basically says that he almost needs to take out Chuck, and he says that something. He says something to the effect of, we have to rid ourselves of this problem, or it's going to come back and haunt us later. So,
which is true. It will.
Which is true.
Well, and the thing is that the finale of last season, Rhoades basically said, "Hey, like you're laughing right now and you're smiling right now, but just enjoy this moment because I'm coming back for you." And you saw that Jocko, he said he was like not fazed by it in the moment. Obviously, his ego was high. He was winning, but obviously it stuck with him still because he's like, "Oh yeah, this guy's not going to go down.
He's not stupid.
It's not going to go down without a fight. There's going to be stuff." So that's why he immediately is like, "Let's put up our firewall." And doing this firewall, what it is basically overturning his Rhoades' entire legacy. Everything that he's done, every case he's prosecuted, Brian and Jeff, they're going to try and overturn all of it. Which means, so it means it's just going to literally take Rhoades' name and just put it in the mud and run it over. And it's everything he's done is going to be overturned. So because of that, Rhoades now needs to have a good support system. And as we see, his father was a big part of it, as he always is, in helping his son's career go high because it also benefits his father.
But it's also interesting, if you back up a little bit, the fact that it was about a gun permit.
Oh, yeah.
And I know Kaufman talks about this because, gun control is such a big topic, and they're like, we want to explore it. It was interesting that Chuck, I felt like he was kind of against guns, even though, or maybe it's just like, hey, it's just impossible to get, and that's why I'm not into it. I felt like he's leaning to not be, because he has a compass.
Yeah,
we know he has a compass for more justice, and I feel like he we'll find out, because I don't think this is the end of gun talk.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? I don't think this is the end of gun talk.
Yeah,
but that was significant. The other significant thing was the fact that, remember, he didn't end it on good terms with the dad last year,
Right?
and the fact that the dad, comes in is still there, but he qualifies. I'm not really here as your dad. I'm here to protect the family legacy, which you're screwing up.
Which is my name, yeah.
Right.
So he sends this guy Borgen over to Chuck, obviously, and he's like, hey, I need a gun permit. And Chuck's like, sorry, I can't help you. That's too hard. But what I do have for you is a permit to park anywhere pass. And that little token makes me love this show.
So awesome.
Yeah. It was so fun, and this little nugget that just stuck around in every scene, and then we finally see it come to use at the end, obviously. But I thought it'd be fun if we can just go through a couple of the little pit stops that Chuck had to go through.
And the montage and the music.
Yeah, and everything that he was going through is hopping over all these fences, jumping through ropes to get to this point.
And I think this is almost rebuilding him. Mm-hmm. Like because the dad was like, figure it out. Like, go back to being the old Chuck.
Exactly.
He
told him, he said, get off your ass and rebuild your influence. And that's why this permit is so important, the difficulty of it. Because it's so difficult, you have to prove yourself, prove your worth again, and then he had to build his ego back up. And with Wendy's help, and we saw Wendy getting on the phone with him immediately. Okay, do you have a plan in action? Just, she's just the cutest support system.
And it was
Love
great.
them.
Great. It was so great, too, that his father lit a fire under him and said, okay, they're coming for you. Mm-hmm. You got to get your ducks in a row, so to speak.
I'd slap you in the face and told them
if you didn't like it, right? I'm like,
imagine your dad saying that to you.
And Paul Giamatti played it well. He got a little embarrassed. Did you see? He was like, okay.
Not from you, Dad. I mean, he was just trying to explain. He's like, Dad, no, I mean, I wouldn't like it from you. I probably, no, okay, done. Just like digging that grave so deep.
Right.
But yeah, a couple of things he had to do. He had to go to Stephen Birch, with Wendy helps him with, to get the first tracks for one of the ski parks that Donnie Deutsch wanted for a season pass.
Real life Donnie Deutsch
wanted that so that Donnie could help get him tickets to the Central Synagogue Children Holiday Service, which Mr. Eisen wanted that. And Mr. Eisen's the guy who could get him in touch with Ambassador Suarez, who could help get the police commissioner's kid to play Little League, even though he was too old. And so Rhoades was able to go through and do all that, and I think it was the most fun I've seen Rhoades have.
When Wendy promised a session, is it a bonded session or a psychology session?
No, it's a psychology session.
Right.
Because that's why he's like, well, isn't like Bobby going to be upset you're cheating on him, kind of?
Right,
and she's like, no, I'm just going to give him like not the good stuff. I'm just going to go anti, which actually may be good to get in his head and turn him a different way so that axe rises. I don't know.
And speaking of Bobby, he had to make a phone call to Bobby about the school.
Oh, yes.
Moving the school. So
exactly. And that was, I think, that's what brought last episode and this episode together. It tied it in together when he can just get on the phone now and, yo, Bobby, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Hey, can you help me out with this?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I mean, it's going to be hard, but whatever for you.
But if you need it,
Whatever you need.
Oh, I got the chills. I want them working together.
Can we go back to 2 years ago when they're in jail together? Like, what's happening?
I don't know how long that bromance is going to last. Let's enjoy it.
I think it's going to last longer than you think because their enemies are so formidable. Mm-hmm. The stronger their enemies are, the more I think the more they'll stick together. Mm-hmm. So I think we're okay for a while.
Yeah, but at the end he's able to finally get the police commissioner to give him that gun permit, and it all was well in the world. But him walking into that bar, and we saw Brian there, and we saw Brian just get in his face basically like, hey, this is for working people basically. And for him to look over there and see that that Rhoades was cheersing with the police commissioner, I'm sure Brian's like, what's going on? I'm sure his heart sank a little because you don't go and turn on that man, your mentor, without thinking there's some retaliation coming. So yeah, I think, did I miss anything? I think that was pretty much, that was a lot of the episode.
Couple of things. Very poignant ending.
Yeah.
With, I know you have news coming up, but very poignant ending with the commissioner and Chuck both lying on the ground.
Yeah.
I remember it was last season, or was it Wags, who was also kind of lying on the ground the same way, and it scared us all. We thought car was going to run them over.
gonna happen,
it
yeah.
didn't happen. Just an interesting quote. It was something about one last look at the stars before you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever
Yeah.
that means. But I thought that was poignant. I think we have to talk about Taylor
Yes, Taylor.
and hiring Sarah, this new badass COO.
Yep.
And we were talking about for the role of Taylor as an actor. I thought this was a really great challenge to have to, put on a wig and put on a
Play
skirt.
both sides. Yeah.
I hope it was fun for
Yeah.
Kate Asia Middleton. Is that her name, or Asia Kate?
Asia. Yeah, it's Asia.
I hope it was fun
Katie
for her
Dillon, yep.
because I think as an actor that would be.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, and it just showed you. It showed you that this COO that she's bringing in is going to bring her right to reality. It's like, hey, you want to play with the big boys. You want to do. You have to
Yes.
do what you can in any situation to get the money. If that's
You have
how
to make
everyone
some-
plays.
right.
And so she goes there in the wig, and that's when she said she's like basically like saddle up. Like suit on up. You have to do
no,
this.
she said
strap up. She said strap up.
Strap it on, like strap.
Yeah.
Basically, again the entendre for a strap on, and
Yeah.
so again.
Yeah, get it together, kind of, and it worked. Clearly, it worked in a sense. I mean, Grigor came and saved her in a sense.
But they had their own take on it, rather than I'm in this sexy little outfit and I will play this femme fatale. It was a discussion about the Falcons.
Yeah.
And the male Falcons do this, and the female Falcons that, and they said,
Yep.
how about why can't it be this way?
Yep.
Or it could be this way, and so that was their way, I think, of saying,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be
No, it doesn't have to be
a
one way.
male or a female. It could just be what it is.
Yeah, and I think she gained some brownie points just the way that she communicates and how smart she is. She was able to talk her way into that man's head, who's just basically like, no, I only work with men.
Do you think where last season, I remember she had that relationship with the other Silicon Valley
CEO.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
guy? Do you guys see anything between her and Sarah? It just seemed like
that they
Sarah's
were
in
FaceTiming.
bed. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so, because I think they're just trying to show that she's now getting her own wags, which is you.
Well,
you think
ReGina.
something?
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, you
I
thought
do.
something.
When she said to her, what else would I be doing?
Yeah.
And I kind of picked up on a little sexual
And I think if you're
there.
writing this show, why wouldn't you show?
Yeah, right.
Last year you had a guy. Why wouldn't you have a girl this year?
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking it because
Might be
I
fun.
feel like Taylor is just trying to go down the path that Axe is, basically becoming Axe. So you see her trying to hire people, seeing her doing whatever she needs to do to get money. Now seeing her hiring her number two, who's Wags, basically, but in a woman form. So I thought that they were just trying to show the bond and relationship of her with her number two, like Axe and Wags have. And so that's what I thought. I didn't think anything sexual, but there could be.
Well, when you're laying in bed like that and she says, what else would I
don't
be
know.
doing? And I think last season they showed some vulnerability with Taylor with that relationship,
Yes.
which threw me because I didn't even think she was interested
in anyone
in having
other than just working money.
a relationship.
Yeah. I don't know.
So-
Well, go Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Sarah's going to be a big help.
Oh, completely. And I think she's going to save Taylor, too. A lot. I think in helping Taylor stay calm and keep her head up. And
Well, I think what you said is really, unfortunately, cheat. And be underhanded and do the things to fight them.
yeah.
And not
To survive.
Not do the take the highest ethical approach.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can survive against these guys
No.
playing that way.
Well, especially because Bobby, at the end of his line with Wags, he goes, we're going to suck the oxygen out of the room, basically, by convincing Grigor to take his money elsewhere. He's basically talking this whole thing. We're going to take all the oxygen out, so there's nothing left there for him, and he's going to leave Taylor. And so it's like, be
brilliant.
scared of what's happening.
Brilliant. So don't ruin her business, make it so he doesn't lose money, but he doesn't really make much money either.
Yeah.
Because he's easily excited, Grigor,
Yeah.
and he will move on, and he won't stay. I don't think he'll stay out of personal. I think it's all about the dollar. You
it's
think
all
he
it is.
would?
I
But
don't
you never
know.
know for revenge to be vicious
Yeah.
too. I don't know.
Possibly. I think that Grigor is winning, and Grigor has been winning for so long now against Bobby. I think soon we're going to see Bobby win against him in a big way. And I think that's just always where it's been coming.
The writing of this, they never forget anything, and the fact that Hall went and dug up something on the shake,
Yeah.
and that was never revealed, they have something.
And it's going to be used.
Yeah. The writing of the show, they never bury stuff.
Yeah.
At some point that'll come out.
I think a key, though, for Taylor is she doesn't want to be told what to do. She doesn't want to feel like a man is bossing her or challenging her smarts, you know, and I think that's going to be a key factor moving ahead with her because she wants total control.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why she went on her own, too.
Yeah, right. So it's going to be interesting.
But
to
she did
see
listen.
how
She listened to. I mean, they listened to Sarah, and they dressed like a woman, which to me is.
That was big for Taylor to do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that they'll be amenable to more changes than you think. Just by seeing today, seeing what they did today. I mean, to put on a skirt
Yeah.
and a wig.
willing to go
that
the
really,
distance.
That's right. It really
Well,
surprised
especially
me.
especially when Taylor has been so pro just being Taylor and not having to conform and being this is who I am, either take it or
Right.
leave
No,
it,
I'm scared.
fighting with acts about nope, I'm Taylor. Hi, this is it.
And I don't think this is compromising. I don't think that they're compromising their soul by doing it. I actually think that they're evolving and learning how to win. Because I don't think anyone can just play it one way and be rigid and you just go on your principles.
It's constant evolution. It's constant evolution, and it's seeing who the other players are and kind of tailoring. That was a great point.
Right.
Yeah, and trying to be
Tailoring
one
your-
step ahead of the other person,
Tailoring
So,
your personality and your beliefs to that.
The undoing of the boys could be the revenge. The undoing of Taylor could be the compromising.
Yeah,
I don't
guess.
know. Like that could be what is going to be all of their weaknesses.
Well, and maybe eventually Sarah keeps pushing Taylor to compromise enough, and then Taylor has enough and blows up, and then goes with the way that Taylor's been wanting to for so long, and it actually works in their benefit, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, what an episode!
It was.
Unbelievable.
What an episode!
Yes.
Should we get into some news?
Let's do some
I think
news.
we should do some news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, Kevin, it's interesting you brought this up earlier because we were talking about how this show is for such a wide audience, how everyone loves this show. You can be a woman, you can be a guy, you can be the people on Wall Street. Everyone somehow loves it. And so with an article with Mother Jones, Brian Koppelman and a couple of the other writers and creators of the show were being interviewed. And one of the questions asked was, why do you think the show resonates with such a wide audience? And I thought this was a great answer. And we can see kind of where all of our fans and audience, where you guys lay on this spectrum. So Brian Koppelman said, but then when I say it's like a Rorschach test, it's because some people will see the show and think, man, that's badass and cool. And then other people will think that's twisted and they'll be drawn to the dark comic part of it. And then other people will see social commentary in it. We're really happy with any of that stuff. So I think though he just laid out 3 different reasons why this show relates to all different types of people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone still loves it.
That
So what do you
explains
guys think? What is it for you guys? Is it more of the dark comedy of it? Is it that it's super badass, or is it just that it's twisted, or just social commentary? What is it for you?
I think a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything?
Yeah. It deals with real life. It helped me to understand more about Wall Street and that whole thing.
What's happening?
Being a hedge fund and just everything with the money and how they go after each other. My God.
It's crazy, right?
I like I think I like the business end of it. That's what's
business
fun.
end?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's a world I've never been in. So to see it, and I think see it done well.
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, and I think it's just badass. So everyone, let us know what one. Why are you guys watching the show? Why are you watching Billions? What is it that makes this show special for you guys? And then another little piece of news. This was fun on Twitter with Damian Lewis. Richard Dreyfuss actually he tweeted to Damian Lewis,
Wow.
"The greatest compliment an actor can give a film or a play or a show is that watching it makes you jealous you aren't in it. That is absolutely how I feel about the show Billions."
Wow.
And Damian Lewis responds, "If this is a pitch for a role, then it's a hell of a good one. I love Richard Dreyfuss, and I love this tweet."
That's great.
You know what?
That gave me.
Yeah.
You see the goosebumps I
That's
have
really
right now.
nice.
Like
I can't see Koppelman.
amazing.
Koppelman is such a child of the 70s and 80s. I cannot see him not doing something.
I'm
with
sure
Richard
now,
Dreyfuss.
especially
well,
with
he's
that
already
tweet.
put it out there
Do you
right
know
on Twitter.
I know, ReGina, you must know Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you know
Oh
him?
yeah, oh yeah.
What
I've
would
seen
you
him
know
in a
him
bunch- from wasn't he in Jaws?
Yeah,
yeah. I
yes,
think
you
I
do.
remember him in
Yeah.
Jaws. Yeah.
I mean, he was on fire in the 70s,
yeah.
and he's such a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was
he'd
recently
be
looking up
fun.
his IMDb too, and it's just it's continuous.
Yeah,
it's
he's-
just gone.
he
There's
is
so much,
phenomenal.
and he's in so many stuff right now in
Right.
production as well. So, anyway, I thought that was cool. So, guys, maybe we'll be seeing Richard Dreyfuss pop up in season 5, or who knows?
He could be like a long lost relative of Chuck's. They kind
Yeah.
of
Well,
favor in
right,
a way.
exactly.
They
I mean,
could.
there's he's so. I mean, God, he so rocks a business
Yeah.
suit. I mean, there's like it's
Yeah.
limitless what you could do with him.
Yeah. So.
Like
We should maybe next week we should creep more on the Instagram of the stars. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see what.
Oh
they're
yeah,
saying.
yeah. That's why. So this was a good one from Twitter and Instagram. They're
Yeah.
always posting and retweeting stuff. So I thought this was the most fun to pop out. Let's quickly get into our millennial translator segment,
All right.
if we can.
Is it millennial or millennial?
I liked millennial because it goes with billions.
Oh, you're right.
that's
Millennial
nice.
translation.
Millennial,
That's what it
right?
was.
So this is
Duh.
where Kev will pull out
Okay.
some translations that maybe us millennials didn't know.
So we have 3 of them this week. There's actually a couple more, but I'll just give you 3. So great with Wags when he pulled out the Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan.
Shaka Khan,
And so
Shaka
you know
Khan.
that song?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very good.
My mama
I
loved
feel
it.
for you.
I get your mom.
My
loves
mama
it.
loved it,
That's
that's
Regina.
Yeah.
So great moment. Then, and I knew they were going to do this when Maffei opened his mouth during the meeting
Mm-hmm.
with Taylor and Sarah and the guy that they were interviewing.
Yeah.
And you saw the look from Taylor, like,
Shut up.
shut up.
Yeah.
Stop. And I knew there was going to be the Godfather reference because the moment in the Godfather where Sonny opens his mouth
Mm-hmm.
during one of the meetings, and it's actually what gets everybody killed because he showed his emotion. But as soon as he left, the Godfather, his father, turned to him and said, "Sonny, never show anyone outside the family what you're thinking again." And so Maffei knew it was coming.
Yep.
And so he said, "I know, never tell anyone outside the
Outside the
family.
family."
That's a Godfather." And then the discussion between the commissioner and Chuck was about Gotti back in the 70s shooting Paul Castellano. So, and it's symbolic too, I'm pretty sure. Castellano was a mob guy, but he was a leader of one of the families.
Okay.
And taking out a leader in a family was unheard of, and particularly by an underling. And Gotti did not have the permission to do it. This is all alleged, it's folklore, but from what my gathering, he did not have the permission. His side of it is he felt Castellano was going to kill him, so it was kill or be killed. But he was a soldier, a lower level member of the mafia who went on his own, had this mob boss killed.
Jeez.
And in that very spot, and he was going out for steak dinner, and then you've got him like laying out on the
So
sidewalk.
that's why they laid there in that position. Wow.
And then Gotti ends up taking over the mob based on that. But it was the end, and it was the end of that era of respect for authority and for chain of command and not doing things in kind of a renegade way. And it did not go well for the mob after that.
Yeah.
Gotti was so brash, so public. He really put them on the map in not a great way. He really got them a ton of exposure, which was against the old way of the mafia. And then, of course, it all disintegrated after that. So I think there's a lot of foreshadowing there.
Of what's going to happen.
Of what's going to happen. And, the young, brash guard taking up the old guard, but then with the ramifications.
Geez, see, this is why I'm glad that I have you guys here to help. That was a great translation there. That makes me think about what's to come.
Yes.
Because of that, let's get into predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, Miss ReGina, would you like to go first?
Well, all I can say
What are you thinking,
is
girl?
hold on to your seats because we're in for a hell of a ride.
We are.
On Billions. Woo! Oh, yeah. Taylor,
Yeah.
watch your back, girl.
Yeah.
They're coming for you.
Yeah.
And Chuck, you finally got rid of that parking pass, right? So what's
Oh my
next?
God!
What
Yeah, we
next?
didn't even talk about how the parking pass
What's
paid
next?
off.
It does.
Finally
It
paid
pays off at the end.
Finally.
Hilarious.
Okay.
I want an anywhere parking
Do you
pass out in LA,
do you
guys.
I know this is a long lead prediction, but do you think that by the end of this season, we have winners and losers, or do you think this three-way battle goes 2 seasons?
Oh, I think it's gonna last because we haven't even really touched on what's the partnership between Rhoades and Axe and Wendy. We haven't even touched upon. It's just the first episode where it's gonna go, and it's gonna last longer than just this. And because there is that partnership, there's gonna be more craziness and
I hope
issues
so.
around it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
We got 3 seasons of them fighting. I'd like another 3 of them together.
Yeah.
Just see what
There we
happens.
go. Yeah, I agree with
it's
that.
not
Interesting,
gonna
guys.
last,
In the super tease, and that's what they call it when they do a
Super tease.
full season tease like that. No Lara, did you notice?
No, yeah, she's or the
Oh, yeah,
kids in there
she-
at all.
Are they off the
Totally
show?
off
Do we
the
know that?
I don't know. I'll go look it up though and see for sure. But I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think they should be off for that long. I'm sure they'll come back
At some
because
point.
that,
She
that's
owns half the company.
She owns half the company. She's a big part in his heart, no matter how much he's pushing it away. I think right
Yeah.
now he's so focused on revenge that as soon as that revenge goes away, it's gonna be my family again
All right,
because
so
he's a good guy.
So I think we will see her, and
Yeah.
I predict she'll help him.
yeah.
That's what I say.
All right, yeah, I
Okay.
agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree with everything that happened, guys. This was
Yes.
so much fun. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought. If we missed anything that you guys want to cover this week, please write it in there. We only have a short time here, so sorry if we missed anything you didn't want to talk about. Where can they find you guys this week?
Well, I am Instagram,
Yeah,
Regina Coles.
at ReGina Coles.
At Undergaro.
And you guys can find me everywhere at Nadine Della. Thank you guys so much again. And remember to like, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and check us out on iTunes and everywhere else where you can hear podcasts. All right, we'll see you next week.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.